Hopefully you're all enjoying leveling up in Diablo 4, having a bunch of fun and playing through the campaign, but if you are looking to do something a little bit different, then you may not have encountered the PvP yet. And this is because there's a specific method on how to do it, and there's some quirks to it that you may want to avoid so you don't make any mistakes. Well, actually accessing the PvP is quite easy, as there are zones on the map that are specifically PvP enabled. These zones are called Fields of Hatred and can be identified quite simply by opening up your map and then looking for the areas marked with a red tint in comparison to the rest of the map. Most other areas of the map are quite beige or green, so it's quite easy to differentiate between the two. Since the map from Diablo 4 is pretty open from even the early game, you should be able to access these areas at almost any level. That is, if you can get there, because we were around the end game and about level 40 plus before we attempted to try it. And this is around the recommended level for these areas, as you have more skills and power on your gear for actually fighting other players. Currently, from what we have seen, there are only 2 PvP areas in the game, and you can see them here on the map in the Dry Steppes, as well as over here in Kyrgyzstan, I think that's how you say it, but both have a recommended level of 50. Well, this is okay for us now that we are level 50 plus, but what level are you guys and what class did you end up picking to main? Let us know down in the comments, and make sure to drop a like on this video if you're already starting to understand the PvP a bit better. But we do have some more things that you're definitely going to want to know. Once you have entered the Fields of Hatred, we suggest that you locate the town in these areas so you have a place to quickly fast travel here in the future. It will also give you access to the vendors here that are very important, and unlock features relating to the PvP. But to actually clap other players and fight in PvP, you will need to blood mark yourself. To do this, you can go to the emote wheel and select Mark for Blood. This allows you to then be damaged, but also damage other players in the PvP area. So think of it like this: if you aren't marked, then players who are marked can ambush and attack you. If you are marked, then players who are either marked themselves or are not marked can also ambush and attack you. But you might be wondering, what do you do in these PvP zones? Well, obviously the main thing to do is have fun destroying other players. And this is where a really cool mechanic comes into play, where if you have defeated enough players, you will earn the Hatred's Chosen title, because it will then mark you on the map for all players to see. And then you need to survive for a set time, after which you receive a bunch of rewards. We weren't actually able to do this at the moment ourselves because there weren't enough players in the zone to build up and trigger it. But if you've managed to do it, then tell us what the rewards were exactly in the comments down below. If you don't feel like being risky and hunting other players specifically, there are various tasks you can complete, such as farming mobs, completing events, or defeating the bosses. Doing all of these activities will earn you the Seeds of Hatred. This is a resource that you're building up as you're farming within the zone, and then you must extract them by converting them at the altars of extraction that are littered around the zone. To do this, you need to locate the altars on the map, which have this symbol as you can see here, and once you make your way there, interact with the altar to start the purification ritual. You will then need to defend the altar for a short period of time, which for us was around 50 seconds. There will be some waves of mobs that come to attack you, but these are pretty minor. The biggest thing to take note of is that it notifies everyone in the area that you are extracting at this altar. So if someone is marked for blood and they are looking to kill other players, it basically tells them that you're here and you have seeds. Once the extraction bar fills though, you will be rewarded with red dust permanently to your inventory, and this is the spendable currency of these PvP zones that is also tracked in your bag. You can earn a lot of these Seeds of Hatred and extract them at once, and we would recommend going after the bosses in the area, as they usually drop around 1,000 plus seeds at once, so this is a pretty fast way to earn a lot of them. But do be aware, because fighting a boss is a perfect time to get ambushed by another player who is marked. The thing is, if you get defeated within the zone or leave the zone, all of the seeds that you're carrying will be lost. If a player kills you, you basically drop all of them and they can pick them up. But don't worry, you won't lose your gear or anything else in your inventory. So it's not super punishing like the previous game's PvP. Within the town though, there's a number of places that you can spend your red dust that you earned while extracting in the Fields of Hatred. One of the important things to know in the towns is that you can actually go and remove your blood mark status. So if you've marked yourself and attacked other players, you could then make your way back to town and head over to the statues which are located on the map with this symbol, and these will then clear your blood mark from you. But you might be wondering what you can spend your hard-earned red dust on. The vendors mark marked with the small red dust symbol next to them indicate that they have items that can be purchased with this red dust. So far, we have seen that you can get a bunch of cosmetics for your horse, your armor, and even a vendor that functions similarly to the Obal's vendor, the mystery vendor, but instead of using your Obals, you instead use your red dust. There's also an interesting vendor that lets you purchase cursed scrolls that will give you a damage boost or other stat boosting effects while you're out in the field. You can essentially buy buffs that are specific to the PvP zone. If you are playing in a group, you will want to be aware of a couple things though, as it will impact how you play. Blizzard unfortunately have made it so that if you're playing in a group, the Seeds of Hatred that drops from other players and mobs is not instance based, meaning that only one player can pick them up. Essentially, you don't share this resource with your party, it's all individual to each of you. We're assuming that this might be to stop some kind of duplication glitch from happening, but it also means you will need to share or split the piles between the players on the team, rather than just picking them up like you're used to with all of your other gear. You can easily track how many Seeds of Hatred you currently have in the top right of the UI, and this will help you dish them out amongst your friends so that you all have a roughly even amount so no one's missing out. One thing that you should definitely consider is checking out these PvP areas sooner rather than later, because right now they aren't too populated and players are running around farming and avoiding combat. We think that as more time goes on, these areas might start to fill up more with PvP focused players, but right now they aren't too populated and the people in them are generally just farming. Remember that because it's a PvP area, you might want to also consider taking some crowd control skills such as freezes, stuns, or slows, so you can better catch players off guard or use it on them to attempt to run away. Dashes and teleports are also very good to get away from players or to close a gap towards them, so you may have to slightly alter your build when you plan to go in these zones. I challenge you to go to a PvP zone and see what happens and then come back and comment on the story of how it went down for you. And if we hooked you up so you better understand PvP, then please hit that like button down below, it really does help, thank you so much. And the two videos on screen now, we think you'll really enjoy if you did enjoy this one. You don't have to watch them if you don't want to, but if you did like this video, you're probably going to like these ones too. And then tell us what you think after watching in the comments down below.